that's a triple play. New episodes, I couldn't wait. Yeah. Open your mind at the first gate. Press play, no need to debate. AoA, check me out. Look, clocked in, you can catch the hype. Golden Dawn, how we follow the light. Anime like life, married to it, my wife.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages? Welcome back to the AoA show. I am your host, as always, Ian, along with my boys, Isaiah.
Yo.
And Gavin.
What's up?
And today we are super stoked to talk about the final 20 chapters in Tower of God Season 1 of the Webtoon. It's been a long time coming, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be... Yeah, let's finish this bitch. This is going to be the culmination of everything, and this will be nice because now that we finally have read this and we've watched all of it, we can see these, comments and read them and understand where some people might be coming from and what our perspectives on it are, and have that conversation with you guys. And it'll be really exciting because everything from here on out will be brand new material to us. Yep. So that's where the real fun begins. I feel like we are part of the season 1 where everyone's like, this is where the show starts, and it kind of parallels, right? So make sure you guys keep commenting. Let us know your thoughts, and let us know if you have any suggestions or ways that you prefer, because we're just going to try and keep on evolving the show in every way, shape, and form to bring you guys the best content possible. And with that being said, if you do enjoy the content today, please make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell, sharing with your friends, and commenting your thoughts down below. If you're listening to the audio-only version of this, make sure you're throwing us a follow on your favorite podcast platforms. If you don't have us on socials yet, that's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can follow us there to keep up to date. And if you want to take that support to the final level, you can hit us up on Patreon. That's patreon.com/AoA show. And as always, all of these links are found in the description down below. So anyway, let's hop into it, guys. We're going to go kind of quickly through the first 10-ish chapters or so. This will be covering chapters 59 to 79, because there's a lot of exposition and a lot of things that mirror the anime pretty well, and everyone's kind of already been down this road. So in the essence of time, we won't hem and haw on too many things unless they're very relevant to talk about. So number 1, we're mourning the death of Ho, which he will be missed. And one shot that I do like, first of all, everyone looks all spruced up, but one shot I do like is that Serena just pours one out for the dead homies. Oh, yeah. Like the actual G. But then from there, and one thing that was interesting is that we don't have that scene from the anime where Bam and Rachel talk outside in like the garden.
Correct.
There, which is relevant because, as we later learn, spoiler alert, because when Rachel betrays Bam, there is a slight difference, which we will get to in the agreement, or lack thereof of one that we know yet. So anyway, from there, we kind of go on like a mini training montage here, right? Because we know that this is going to be, they have to take this administrator test inevitably, so they're just training to up their skills. We got the spear bearers throwing at the targets. We got them celebrating with one another. This is a very wholesome shot right here.
It's always Shibuya with that face, dude.
Yeah,
they always need to squeeze that in. It's
They're
amazing.
fucking great. So yeah, right. The old man face. Yeah. There's literally no dialogue in any of these because it's just it's a literal training montage that we have here. It's cool to see Dorsey and Bam get some, one-on-one time, because I don't believe they fleshed that out in the anime. If I'm not mistaken, they kind of just jumped right into it. So that's kind of cool. Kind of a call forward to it. And then we have Hansung. He's about to start explaining what the final test is, because, Bam has agreed to take the administrator test, which is basically he's the only one that's allowed to call upon that, being that he is an irregular, because Kun tries to pull some strings. And essentially he's like, that was smart of you because technically we're supervisors and there's a difference, but I caught you, you're not an irregular, so you can't do it. Nice try. And that's when Bam reveals, I'm an irregular, right? Which a lot of the head people, well, not a lot, but Hansung knew for sure. Yeah. And some of the people didn't, were like, oh, that makes so much sense now as to why Bam is so much different. So anyway, so then Hansung is now explaining the test to everyone. And the difference, by the way, because I believe we may have briefly brushed over this, between administrators and supervisors was interesting, right? Because the administrators are they used to administer the tests to people like Jihad and the OGs that came into the tower. And obviously the tests were on like, I don't know if it was a much harder scale per se, but there was a lot more scrutiny and less delegation down the chain. So I would assume there's more of a ruthlessness to it, right? At least that's what I get from the message. And now, because the tower is so fleshed out and Jihad has kind of established this kingdom within the tower, they're able to delegate this responsibility to supervisors who now carry out the same tests, but on different scale, essentially. So that's kind of the whole backstory to that. So anyway, we get into Hansung explaining what the test is going to be. So those of you that have seen the anime or read, which I'm assuming you have, if you're here, first of all, this is a fucking hilarious shot where Rack is just like, you want us to catch fishies? I fucking love this character, dude. And I just love Rack so much more in these last 20 chapters, honestly. Dude. He's so fucking funny, dude. He has so many scenes where you're just like, how can you not love this guy? But that shit cracked me up. But anyway, he's explaining the test. And without going too far into it, there's essentially the dolphins, the dogs, they call them, or pigs, take your pick, and the goblins, right, with the worms.
Correct.
That's what I'm calling them anyway. So,
the thieves.
Thank you, the thieves with the worms. And essentially they form their own little ecosystem where the dolphins will go underwater to try and net together their food. I can't remember what they eat specifically, but it's
fish.
Just fish. Yeah. And all the while the thieves are trying to steal it and then contending with the dogs that are trying to eat the dolphins or whatever.
Yep.
So basically the thieves ward off the dogs, so not a lot of dolphins die, but then in exchange they steal the food, and then, you know what I mean? It's like this whole cycle of life, right? So Hansung is explaining this test and how it's going to go down. Rachel and Bam are going to be in the bubble. They're going to have to basically aid the dolphins in successfully completing their hunt and feeding their queen, which will result in the net absorbing, or rather catching, the ball of Shinsu that Rachel and Bam are trapped or enclosed in, and then she will digest them, even though they'll be protected from it, and spit it out on the other side. If they fail to do so, if the worms eat them, or if they are not captured by the queen, they fail the test, right? So then, as he's explaining it, we have the one contingency to this, and that would be the bull, right? So the bull, which is interesting because he's saying that, you know, it's starting to creep down here. They normally don't creep down here. And I think later that might have to do with the fact that because he knew everything that was going on, my theory is that, like, he says that is because Lopo Ren, being that he was controlling it the whole time. That's what I don't think that's like common for the bulls to be in general. Like, it's a migrating thing. I think Lopo Ren literally is like, I'm going to bring this bull. Exactly. Right. So he explains the bull, which will be the one contingency, and Kun isn't stupid. So he knows that means if he's explaining it, it's probably going to be there in some point. Right. Yeah. So then we go back to Yuri and gang, who have finally found the entrance, per se, if you want to call this an entrance, right, to the testing floor. I mean, they have to go down, so it makes sense, right? And they have to jump. Now, I'm not too concerned for these folks here because we've seen how powerful they are.
Yeah.
And that jump, you know, I think they're going to be fine. But it is still funny because fucking Evan has just kind of had it up to his eyeballs with Yuri's shit. You know, he's like, go down the hole, and he's like, all right, can you give me a second? Like, it's a long fall. Shit cracks me up. Anyway, it is also interesting to note that you know, Ghost A is alive and well, right? Which, again, reasons you guys already know, but we'll get into in a minute here. So that's cool, although he does effectively nothing, but stand here. And it's also interesting too that Hots is separated from Rack and Paracule, which he is in the anime. He is with them, and they kind of take a different spin on how things go down because they just have less, you know, they have less characters to work with in the anime, and they just need to save on time. So that was interesting as well. They have different scouting positions than they did in the anime. But beyond that, the test is relatively similar. We still got Shibasu with one of his great speeches, I guess, per se, or monologues, which I really enjoyed, where he basically says that Serena and I were talking, and basically what makes Bam so special is that he was able to retain what all of us have lost, right, in coming to the tower, and we don't want him to lose that, which is why we want to help him, right? And that was a really big move, you know, coming from them, considering like some of them were on the fence or like not knowing if Kun was lying about the whole, you know, like, I can't help Bam, right, when they were going to do that. Which I think Shibasu is one of the people that's like, yeah, I knew you.
They have that interaction.
They have that.
Like, did you know I was lying? And he's like, of course.
Exactly. So he goes through, you know, because Shibasu is a smart guy. So he sees the light, and lo and behold, here's the fucking bull. Which shot. This is a really cool shot. And this thing is just, it's ugly, right? So he's running. This is just a great scene, anime and webtoon in general, right? Because Shibasu is just fucking...
dude, it was so fucking hilarious, that interaction with the bull, dude. It was like every second. I forgot what he said. He was like, He's like, you ain't gonna get the dolphins. And then eventually, like when it was running after him, he's like, no, you can go to the dolphins. He's like, let me go. And he starts screaming, Mom. He's like, Mommy. And then Knack shows up, and I was like, oh my God.
He just throws a rock at it, and he's like, what? And he's like, hey. And then it just ignores him again. And he's like, what the fuck?
Fucking ferocious.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I know. He freaking cracks me up, man. Because it's just like Shibisu always just seems to be in and over his head.
Oh, 100%.
And it just cracks me up. I just can't wait for him to get that huge character development that I hope that he does. But damn, can you imagine this thing staring you right in your grill like that? Oof. No, yeah, that's not good at all. So a lot of bravery from Shibisu for sure. And I wouldn't call it stupidity either. I would say it's bravery because he knows the stakes.
It is.
You know
bravery,
what I mean? Like he could have literally ran away at many moments, but
yes, but he fucking kicks it and he's like,
oh yeah,
I hope you feel like your balls have cracked. He's like, if you survive this, you're not even a man. And then it gets up and he's like, you're not a man. It's not a guy. Yeah.
That shit
like, lady.
lady. Dude, that shit was great, dude. Oh my God. Yeah, so this is a funny one. So help, runs away. And then lo and behold, the Green April appears, which its wielder being a knock comes to the rescue. And she is joined by Endorsi, who they have now kind of had this. We've established that Endorsi has had a lot of character growth, right? In that she wants to help Anak ascend the tower, right? Because she feels like she was kind of robbed of a lot of agency, of her reputation, everything just for existing, right? And Dorsey clearly deep down thinks that there's something inherently wrong with that. So she's trying to help her, which is cool. But they still have this funny little play between them where it's rivalry, exactly, where they're just screaming at each other, and Anok's making fun of all the makeup that Dorsey wears, which clearly gets under her skin, right? So they have this whole fucking banter back and forth, which this was part of all Kuhn's plan, by the way, because everything is Kuhn's plan every single time.
Kuhn knows what's going on.
Literally, dude. It's like, I wonder how much time they give him to formulate these plans, and it's like, because they are like fucking elaborate,
a good 5-10 seconds.
Yeah, and he's like, got it. Okay, yeah, must be nice, right? Anyway, so let's go. Again, they're explaining the ecosystem. I explained this before and how this works. And explaining that the bull will be there, and then, alluding that it was Kuhn's plan to have them encounter the bull because they are probably the two strongest fighters, it's implied, within the group.
Definitely. There,
for sure. So Endorsi and Anak make a bet, and they say, we'll give each other 5 minutes apiece to try and hunt this bull and destroy it. And if I do it, I get the Black March. And if you do it, I'll give you everything. And Anok's like, even your life wouldn't even be worth the Black March. You need to be my slave forever, right? So Endorsi, being the cocky chick she is just like, sure, bet. I go first, And so she starts to go after it, which is cool interaction there, parallels to the anime. So then she's fighting it, or she starts to in a second anyway. And pretty cocky at that. Meanwhile, we go back to our friends, Rack, who, again, these panels just crack me the fuck up, dude. He's just such a funny freaking character. He goes, wait, where was he? I don't know. I'm sorry. So he goes, he's just bored out of his fucking mind. Yeah, he just goes, this is boring. And then again, this is something that I need to bring up, by the way. I need everyone to refer to this panel, and for everyone who has ripped on us for nicknaming any characters, I would like to refer to Exhibit A right here, where Rack calls Pericule Pickles, okay?
I'm going to refer to him as Pickles.
Everyone else Turtles. So Rack is clearly on the same page, quite literally, as us on this podcast, and that is why we love Rack. So again, Isaiah, you said it, I think, last time, where it's like these shots where it's just these, like, I don't want to say, what's the word, like these like slap together drawings, you know what I mean? Simplistic drawings compared to when Rack is all menacing looking are just the fucking funniest thing in the world, dude. They crack me up so hard. But anyway, so Rack referring to them. Oh, and also one thing I'd like to refer to, I believe it was in chapter 58, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. This is where Kuhn does the whole, like, oh, I'm not going to help Bam or whatever, and they're deciding to take the test. Yes. Which we may have not fleshed out entirely last episode. So real quick, just going back, and you were saying Rack explains why he refers to people as turtles.
Oh, that was actually later on in this panel.
Oh, was it? Okay, my bad.
Well, you might as well fucking explain. Either way, though, so it was really nice because a lot of the people in the comments, like, we never knew why he would call everybody Turtle, like, obviously Black Turtle, and then he calls Coon Sneaky Turtle and stuff like that. And the reason why he refers to them as turtles is because when the going gets hard, most of these people, they're very willing to throw other people under the bus, not put themselves out there and put their own lives on the line. They're very selfish in manner, demeanor, and stuff like that. So the turtle reference is more or less, he says, because you guys do this, you're so quick to hide in your shell and just protect yourselves and not put yourself out there for other people. And that's why nobody is deserving of a different title other than Turtle.
Yes, which was really cool. That it shed really light on that.
Yeah, because it's not just like a random thing. It's like, oh, Turtle. You know, it actually has meaning and depth.
Yeah.
Which, like, actually is a couple brownie points for Rock because, you know, he put that thought, like, he put 2 and 2 together. He's not as stupid as he seems. You know, he actually has his own mindset.
I love him because he's just like the epitome of just like this instinct. You know what I mean? But it's like he's not stupid per se, you know, in thinking that. It's just like, I don't know. He's a genuine dude,
exactly.
You know? I love how he tells Pickles to make him laugh. He's like, make me laugh. And he's like, boring. Shit cracked me up. Anyway, so then he immediately springs to action when Coon's like, get to work. And he's like, oh, fuck. He's about to lay down, right? Because they see that the worms are coming. So let me just hop to the next one here. And then we go to Bam and Rachel here, who have kind of their like, you know, you kind of get to see what it's like for them in the bubble of Shinsu. That is. All the while, Hotz is trying to run to, you know, relay to Coon what is happening. These worms are on the move, while Endorsi is now fighting the bull, who seems to be relatively weak, you know, compared to Endorsi's standards. And it's funny because Shibusu gets a fucking little bit of a fucking chub when he's talking about her here, because he's like, what does he say? Fucking, I don't know if we already passed the fucking panel, but she just whoops this thing's ass. Oh yeah, and he goes, she's way stronger. I didn't really believe that she tied with a rancor in a fight, but I do now. So that's the power of jihad. And then he goes, wait, fuck. Oh, yeah, it's scary, but attractive. And then Anok's just like, shut the fuck up. She should have me die. Yeah, and then he starts simping over her over here, which is fucking hysterical. And Anok's just fucking had it. That was a funny scene. I thought that was good. Anyway, so again, we're kind of displaying that, you know, spoiler alert, the bull isn't as weak as it lets on. But, you know, that Endorsi is really able to whoop this thing's ass. And it really just shows, too, which was, you know, always implied from the start, but that once we ascend to the later floors, like, we really get the idea here, especially knowing what happens in season 1. And now that we finished this, you really get the idea that this is just the beginning. Yeah. And it's literally, quite literally just the beginning, right? Because like, even the power scale, because we find out that Lopo Ren is controlling, and granted, Lopo Ren is like a pretty high ranker, right? Like a jihad ranker. So like, he's no pushover, and I would assume that he's one of the stronger folks within the whole tower. But the fact that he can control an animal at whim or at will that can easily beat Endorsi's ass, like, you know, no questions, is like, just goes to show how outranked some of these folks are.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
So anyway,
I love this.
And this guy just fucking cracks me up. That's a great shot. And he's just eating pizza over here, and it's like fucking just like got some stuff at McDonald's. Chilling, yeah, because the bull starts to run away. Yeah. So they're like, okay, let's chase it down, and Nok is like, okay, your 5 minutes are up. Like, you couldn't get it in time, so now they're chasing after the bull. So this is cool too, because now her name evades me, but the girl who could control the little Shinsu fish, she breeds them. Essentially, this shed a little more light on it. And you know, this could have been something in the anime that you put 2 and 2 together. Now looking in hindsight, it seems easy, but I didn't connect the dots at first that she essentially has a similar skill set to someone like Lopo Ren, just on an incredibly basic level.
Correct.
So when I didn't realize that there is literally, this is cool again, because I don't know if we did it on this episode or on another episode of this, but we kind of referred to, or I was referring to things as like certain skill points, it seemed, right? Where it's like, it seems like some, you know, being that there are like class systems, right? Wave controllers, fishermen, spear bearers, etc., right? And you each have your like specific attributes, but it seems like even within those, there's certain extra avenues you could go down, right? It reminds me of like Elder Scrolls or some shit, right? Where it's like conjuration or whatever, and being able to control animals, you know what I mean, within Shinsu is a skill in and of itself. And it seems that, you know, Lopo Ren specifically specializes in that, right? Because then when he fights Yuri later, he keeps summoning fish, right? Like a lot of his fighting style is the fact that he can summon animals to his disposal, right? So it's like a certain acquired skill that not everyone can do. And I found it interesting. Just throwing that out there. But anyway, she explains to him that she can do that. And then I think that's when Kun puts 2 and 2 together about the bull, because he's like, okay, I'm not stupid. This bull shouldn't be here. And wait a minute, you're saying that you can control that. Could you do it on bigger objects? And she's like, well, eventually I could. And he's like, yep, got it. Okay, I'm just keep on breathing easy and doing this test because there's nothing, there's no point in freaking out, because it's like, we know if there's one thing that I can expect, it's that things are going to go unexpectedly. So anyway, so then we get to the point where Dorsey finds the bull, and this time shoes on the other foot, because the bull just whoops her ass pretty handily, and Anak is going to chase her, who then runs into Lopo Ren. And this is interesting too, because I don't know if they specified this in the anime, and if they did, I missed it. Because I was just kind of caught up in the moment. But Lopo Ren killed Anak's mom specifically.
Yeah, that was in the anime.
Was it?
Yeah, and he actually dangled the necklace too in his mouth in the anime.
Did he?
Remember,
okay.
he was like, and we're like, yeah, what is that?
Yeah,
you're totally right. Yeah, I like that. Just went one ear right out the other. But yeah, so he killed specifically Anak's mother. Yep. So if Anak didn't have enough reason to be pissed at someone in particular, Lopo Ren is definitely her new antagonist for sure.
Oh yeah.
And he's not too nice about it either. He definitely waves it in her face, because he is incredibly confident that he's going to be able to dispatch Anak with no problem at all. So Anak's rage gets the best of her, of course. And again, showing how Lopo Ren, how powerful he is, because Anak's mother, being a princess, definitely adds power to her. Sure. And she may have not been the highest ranking princesses, but like just to be one in general, you got to have something, right? Oh yeah. So Lopo is like not to be underestimated in any way, shape, or form. So anyway, so then we have the worms moving even ever closer to their objective. All the while, we have Lopo Ren fighting Anak. And it's really a no contest here. She thinks that she's in it, but then Lopo, and which is cool too, because they show, again, correct me if I'm wrong, anime's been a while, but this is right here is different than what he does in the anime. This was
never in the anime.
Exactly, right? He just kind of keeps spitting the fish out, right? Like out of his mouth, which he's effectively doing, but it's cool because he's like using himself as almost like there's like a chain to it, so there's like, it's its eye. You know what I mean?
That's
it's
a
like,
toy of his.
Yeah, it's cool. I like just the fighting style of it, and I like how they really flesh out the fact that Lopo Ren definitely specializes in using these creatures as his fighting style. Yep. He's like, you know what I mean? Like he is almost the puppet master in the back, and I just thought that was cool because it's just showing everyone's different, style of fighting. So anyway, Anak is fooled because she thinks, because he's like throwing up shields and shit. And Anak's Green April isn't even thwacking it at all. And I mean, I can't help but think it's because Anak, even although we think she knows how to use this weapon, really just doesn't fully at the end of the day. Because even Yuri mentions it, and she's like, "You're not even there yet, dude." Because like you would assume that an Ignition weapon, like one of the month series, would easily be able to smash through whatever defenses that there were.
Yeah, and it's implied that when Yuri shows up later, that she's like, "You haven't even actually been using this." Like, you know what I mean? She's basically been quite literally just whipping it around.
Yeah, very basic attacks, right? She's not using any of the special features that it comes with. Except for extendy mode. But anyway, so then this is funny because they kind of hold Laurel hostage in all these, which seems to be always the trend, right? In all these tests, where it's like, Laurel, we need you to do something. He's like, no, and they're like, okay, we'll steal your blanket and pillow, or like, there's something in it for you, and he's like, fine, because he's like really powerful, comparatively speaking to the contestants here.
He just wants to sleep,
right? He just wants to sleep. He is the embodiment of me. It's just like, don't bother me, let me
always
sleep.
Nappy time.
Yeah, it's always nappy time.
And we mentioned it briefly last time, but the gentleman whose name I forgot, it was like Hong or something with the sword, is also still kicking. That was something that was just a little weird when Endorsey dispatched them in our last discussion, because we mentioned it at the end. But I don't know. That threw me off. So, I mean, I'm glad he's there, though, because I liked him.
I don't think he has any, relevance, though, going forward.
No, it's just weird that they kept him.
He's here in the Manhwa instead of not being here.
He has an ignition weapon, so he has some power, I guess.
That is true. Yeah. And he definitely has a good friendship with the girl that can control the Shinsu fish.
Also true.
Yeah. So Rak getting slightly impatient again, but realizing, because he's not stupid, that like if Kun says he's got to wait, he's got to wait. Paracule, on the other hand, Mr. Pickles here, Pickle Rick, is not so patient. This is a fucking great.
He's like, what?
This is such a good shot, dude. Yee! That's just fucking great. Anyway, yeah, this is a good one too. It's fucking so good, right? Because fucking Paracule throws one and just like straight up misses, right? Like an idiot. And it's like, why are you even here? So blows the whole cover, right? So now it's like fucking, it's down to the wire, right? And they're just fucking screaming at each other and shit. And this is a sick shot of Rack, actually. There's just so many cool shots. Yeah, this is fucking so good, right? Is he choking him? Yeah, I think he's choking him. Yeah. That's fucking hysterical. Anyway, Kun is like, change of plans, run to the blue light, right? So they're running. And this is a really cool shot, actually. I like this a lot.
Yep.
Where he's charging like that. I love this shot. So anyway, he's running with Pericule, and you have to assume that Rack could run pretty fucking fast by the way that Pericule's face is just contorting in the wind there, right? And it's like how these speed lines are going past. Like, he's a fast motherfucker. I would just really love to see, provided he makes it long enough, all this is going to be new, but like in the anime, when they flesh this out.
Yeah.
I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times, but I just really want to see him cut loose. Like a sick animated fucking fight between him, because I just feel like he's just such an interesting character. I don't know. I just love it. So anyway, this is just a hilarious series of shots here that we have. Pericule fucking tears coming out of his eyes, the whole nine. He's like fucking,
Although he does
smack that guy away. He calls everyone garbage, which is like, that's not very nice, but
which is ironic coming from Pickle.
Yeah, right. For real, right? So he goes, where are you going? Fucking goes to the box, and Rack, without any hesitation, just fucking jumps because he already knows what he has to do. Lands right on the worm. This is a really cool shot too. Where he looks up in the sky like that. Yeah, he's fucking massive. Awesome. Oh, fuck. That's sick. That's a cool shot. Anyway, so fucking, to be continued. Hang on one second. Where do we go from here? Anak.
Oh, yeah.
Getting her, the daylight's beaten out of her over here.
Yeah.
She got stabbed by one of the creatures. He obtains, Lopo Ren obtains the green April from Anak. And talk some shit, and then he has Dorsey come in with the bull now, which look at the fucking size of this bull, dude. Like, holy shit. You can't, like, some of these panels, you tend to forget how large some of these creatures are, like Ghost compared to Rack compared to anyone else, the bull compared to anyone, right? Like, there's some menacing shit going on in this world. Like, that thing is fucking huge. Anyway, Dorsey's a little bit embarrassed here because she realized she got duped. She got pranked. So Lopo goes into why Anak is basically deserving of death, and it's because she is in a direct opposition of Jihad just based off the existence, her existence herself, right?
Yep.
So he says, I could kill you, but I'm going to make Dorsey do it because I've been watching you, and it's been kind of weirding me out that you seem to be helping her up the tower. And I don't know if you forgot who you are here, but you are a princess of Jihad. And being that Anak is in direct opposition of what Jihad stands for, you shouldn't be helping Anak, right? So you can prove it to me, though, right? Because Dorsey at first is like, no, it wasn't me, blah, blah, right? Because she knows she's beat. And he goes, no, that's fine. You can prove it. And he says, you could kill her for me, right? And Dorsey, you don't, I guess it's up for interpretation whether she was going to save her the whole time or if she has that epiphany, because she does have the flashback with Bam. It's, whatever you want to think of her in that moment. But she goes up to Anak, and this is a fucking sweet shot. I love that one a lot, right? I love when they highlight the eyes of them because they all have like these different fucking wacky colored eyes and shit. It's really cool. Anyway, goes up to her with the green April. Lopo really can't contain himself here because I've now realized that he has basically a bunch of fucking animals within that thing, I guess, right? So they're all fucking jiggling around and doing whatever, right? So Shibisu over here is fucking beat, right? And he and in the distance, our fucking our savior comes to light in a second, and that will be Yuri, but we don't know it yet, right? Because we didn't read that far. So anyway, so we go back. She says, she's about to potentially kill Anak, and essentially she has this flashback, right, of all the time that they spent together, her time alone, right, and her explaining why she likes being alone. I like being alone. To Bam, right? Alone. Yeah, if you needed some proof, there it is. Right, feels worse to be with someone. They bother you and make you nervous, right? Because she's come from this upbringing now where she had to fight all of her, I guess, brothers and sisters or people of her family and put them under her feet in order to ascend to the next level, right? So like any attachments that she's ever made in life have always just disintegrated into thin air, right? Or she's had to cut them off herself. Correct. So like this is big for her. This is a big move for her because her whole character perspective now has essentially turned on its head. And I could definitely see why people like Dorsey, provided she keeps this up into some of the later episodes, seasons, because these are big moves for her. Like out of a lot of these characters, she's had quite a bit of development, especially over these last chapters here. So definitely could see it. So Bam gives her the whole talk no jutsu here and fucking, says like, no, friends are cool. And she's like, yeah, you're right. So she fucking is about to kill Anak and then decides we're not going to kill Anak. And she says, all right, get me food. And Anak's like, wait, for real? So then they fucking, they do the team up like fucking Goku Frieza versus fucking, Jiren type shit. But unfortunately, it's not as satisfying because they get their ass whooped. Yeah, so it's cool for like
Short-lived.
Yeah, right. It's very short-lived. They get like one solid hit on him, and Low Po's just like, oh, by the way, that's like my real form, I guess.
Yeah,
whatever
like,
the fuck you
self-defense.
Yeah, he picked a hell of a costume to wear. He's like one of those mascots at a football game.
Yeah.
Like he just picked the most inconvenient thing. But anyway, he fucking just shoots her with Zeus's lightning coming out of the fucking coming out of his mouth. So that was pretty cool. Blasts and Dorsey into fucking Kingdom Come over here. So then, and puts his foot on Anak's throat. So anyway, where do we go from here? Oh,
my girl.
Where do we go from here? Is the entrance, right? So he's about to
Baseballs come up in, bro.
yeah, kill Anak. He gets hit with like a rock or something like that.
She's fucking just tossing rocks at him.
He's like, who's that? Right? And he goes, those two ugly girls. Here he goes, you've been beating on. And then this is dope because it's like the Thai symbol with jihad.
yeah.
It looks like it's almost like a wax or something like that.
Yeah,
it's
it
like
does.
imprinted in or something. Regardless, it looks dope. And then she goes, I'm their older sister. And just like makes her fucking entrance, right? Where she's just looking like a badass, right off the bat. And you're and fucking this is a sweet shot of Yuri right here. I like this one a lot, right? Really shows just like that she means business, right? It's like Yuri Jihad, right? So now they're in.
To be continued.
Yeah, to be continued. Anyway, moving on. So she basically Shibusu let her there, right? So Shibusu, I love it. He just gets like thrown around. It's like distract this bull, lead me to these people, like don't die, right? Like those are his objectives all the time. It's just to run around.
He's just the everyman of the team.
I know, shit cracks me up. So meanwhile, Rack and Paracule or Pickle are up on the worm here, and shit's about to go down until they levitate, and they go, "We're flying," and fucking Loral's just a G, and he can make people fly now.
Yeah,
so fuck
apparently.
it,
He's
right?
Superman.
So, and it's cool to see him not in his sleeping bag for once. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Cool looking guy. He's a cool dude, pretty
dope.
average, but
Chill.
it's like, get out there, little boy. Anyway, so then the fucking, then the dogs come, and this is a cool shot actually. They start fighting the thieves. And there's just like a whole war going down. So he gets them to a good vantage point from up top. And from there, they explain how. They're like, how'd the dogs meet them? And it's like, well, Loral went and basically we used the Shinsu fish to examine all the tunnels underground that the dogs use because Shibusu read it in a book somewhere. And so with them, Loral basically punctured all the points that could be used as a different trail to their destination. So they had to take one, and it would inevitably lead to their confrontation with the thieves. Then basically he says, unload the spears, right, on him. And fucking... let me go from here. The sniper guy, he was not in by this point, right? I think I said this a couple episodes ago, but I'm really having a hard time remembering sniper guy. I think he was out in the anime by this point. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I think he was out too. I don't think they had him in.
I don't know. Interesting. So this guy, can't remember his name, but with the wings here, I feel like he's made a lot of development, not in terms of like his actual character. I'm just talking in terms of strength.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like him and Rack were just nailing those targets before. So I thought that was cool, right? Ghost is here just doing nothing.
Literally
Being a ghost.
Being a ghost, because I feel like if Ghost participated in that test, it would just be too easy. He probably just would have went down and slaughtered all the dogs and the thieves in one foul swoop.
I wouldn't doubt it. Dude.
Yeah.
That guy's a monster.
He's
literally
a fucking monster, right? So I feel like that's their excuse, right? They're like, he won't participate because we didn't want to make this too easy for everyone. And in the anime, they're like, fuck it, we'll just get him killed somehow, right? So anyway, Kun is going through surveying the battlefield when lo and behold, what appears to be his brother just fucking pops up behind him. He's like, oh shit, how the fuck did you get in my fucking lighthouse? And he's like, relax, guy. He's like, I'm going to take control of this real fast because I need to see where everyone is. I'm lost. Okay, we all just jumped down this hole and everyone got split. Yeah. So, and this is
oh
funny
my
too.
God,
yeah, this is a great
the
fucking
best
scene. Because Loral tries to go and find a place to fucking sleep, right? And this fucking scene just perfectly embodies this character.
Oh, that's
and then fucking
What? When someone wakes you up too early?
Oh my god!
Can that just be our background from now on instead of the AoA thing on our monitor? We just have that chilling the whole time.
Oh no, he'll be looking at me.
Oh my god, it's so fucking funny. So then this girl comes up with the other guy that's part of Yuri's squad, and she seems to be a little intrusive, which Laurel really hates people that are intrusive. So she starts going off on him, and from this point, Laro Rowe realizes that there are intruders, right? He can sense them, but he's like, I can't do anything. Yeah, he's like, I still can't do anything, so it doesn't matter, right? So then Quan's like, really? And he's like, yeah, it doesn't matter though. Like, this is the administrator's thing. Like, we're supervisors. It's not going to work like that. So Kuhn's brother, whose name evades me, or I don't know if we even know it at this point.
Blueberry.
Yeah. Or was that Curdon? Was he Blueberry? Or
Curdon was Blueberry.
Yeah, big blue. But anyway, so we have this where all of the team members of Yuri's squad are meeting their respective people, and we realize that this was really part of the test because nothing in this is coincidence in this show, right? It's like, but anyway, so then Lopo Ren explains to Yuri why he is here, right? He says, I'm an enforcement, number 67 of Jihad.
Yep. I've
come to obtain the Green April. You know, like, you should be totally fine with this. And Yuri, also having a heart, right, is like, well, that kind of seems fucked up, and I don't like your face. Like, literally, I feel like that was her decision, right? Because she's like, I just don't like what's going on here. And then she kind of gives him some lip, and he's like, oh, excuse me? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think Jihad would like that. And let me just throw this out here now. No one likes a fucking rat, okay? So can we just establish that? Lopo Ren had this fucking coming, okay? It's like, well, I'm going to tell the teacher or something like that. And it's like, you don't do that. You don't do that. Because I think Yuri may have been in a situation, I don't know, where she was willing to maybe take it or leave it. But the second you start being like, I'm tell dad, done. That's it. Yuri, especially with Yuri's
temper. It's one thing, like, in the real world. But, like, in a world like this where, like, someone like Yuri could blow out your entire existence by breathing on you.
Literally by flicking
like,
you.
There's no reason to antagonize somebody. Like, there's just no, like, what are you doing?
No.
And it's not like he doesn't know where she's coming from. She's literally, like, the one of the number one princesses of Jihad. Like, what are you trying to attempt here?
Yeah, I don't know. So from there, and, you know, rightfully so, Yuri gets a little pissed off. And it's like, okay, or I can just kill you. Your fucking choice here, guy. So he's like, so Lopo definitely overestimates his ability a bit. Or at least here, I'll get more into this later. But it's like, oh, I can't wait to fight, right, Yuri, because she's one of the top dogs, right? She's the original owner, or she's the owner currently of the Black March. So can't contain it, fucking can't help himself, and fucking bam, shoots out fucking 1 million of these fucking
it's like an orgasm in the process.
Yeah, because like they kind of show this in the anime, but I'm like, holy shit, bro. Like, that's a lot. All these different creatures. And not to mention, now that I'm thinking of it, I think he was probably only using one of these when he tried to attack Han Sung.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, these look roughly the same size as the one that he used to attack him, you know? Like, you'd think that maybe he was pulling back on some of his power to see, and it was like, maybe because Han Sung like so easily dispatched it that he's like, okay, like, even if I throw out all these, it might not make.
Yeah, it might have been like the testing the water, like, don't blow your load in one go, but it's Princess Jihad, so like obviously
he knows that it's like,
so now blow your load.
Yeah. Like, literally, he's like, they're swimming, I can't hold back, and they're just fucking.
No, it's just fucking funny.
Dude,
anyway, literally couldn't hold back any longer. Hey, this is a great shot, right? Yeah. He's like, "Ooh, I did it."
One
or whatever
gross nigga, bro.
Yeah, right, for real. And then she's like, "Are you done?" And they're just this shot of like,
just all fucking
they're
dead,
just literal blood. That's it. Like, they're gone. And then she just fucking flicks
the
him.
Tsunade flick.
Dude. Oh, for real, dude. And fucking blasts him into a wall, going like Mach 3, which is fucking insane.
No, he dodged it.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did. You'll see in the next scene.
Oh.
Yeah. She's like, why? She's like, why'd you dodge it? And
my bad. Is that a crater that she puts in the wall?
Yeah. Like, that was her
She
flick.
blows like the spot where he was, but he moves out the way.
Oh, that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. All right. Anyway, that's like some.
Yeah, like,
you're right. All right, my bad. That's like some One Punch Man shit where he fucking goes to hit Genos,
fucking
and the
crazy.
whole fucking mountain goes.
Like, imagine if it was a punch or something, dude.
Nuts,
That's just a flick with one finger.
That's fucking incredible. Oh, you're right. Okay, why'd you dodge? All right, my bad. Anyway, she's like, get over here. I'm gonna flick you again. It's like, fuck that. And he's like, I'll pass on that one.
Imagine like thumb wrestling her or some shit. Like, you fucking just
goes like this.
Arm wrestling, and you're just like fucking through the fucking floor.
She does this in a crater, just forms in the fucking ground, right?
Oh, that's great.
So anyway, we have the banter between all the people that have met others. Kuhn's brother just hijacks his lighthouse with his Game Boy because he can do that because fuck it. And Kuhn's just like, okay. And this is one thing I love about Kuhn because like Kuhn has his thoughts, but like Kuhn clearly knows when he's outmatched or when there's things. Kuhn, if there's something to learn from Kuhn, and I feel like this is a point of character development for him in a sense because I don't know if he would have done this initially. I feel like this really started to happen past the door test and when he started to. And this is why I feel like Rack in particular is such an important teammate for Kuhn to have. But I feel like Kuhn has gotten so much better at just realizing when there's shit that's completely out of his control and not stressing about it. Mm-hmm. And that is a lesson. And, you know, you can argue that he's always been decent at that, which I would argue that like he's been decent. But I think like having like the instinctual side of Rack and his teammates to be like, yo, relax a little, stop overanalyzing everything, things like that. Like, I don't know, whatever your thoughts are, but I
think
feel
it's just because he knows his
correlates.
brother. And he knows, like, all right, I'm not, like, he's been in this fight before with him. He's like, I'm not going to fuck with this. Like, I know how this ends. There's no point in dragging this out to some, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't think he knew that he was his brother initially, because even he says, he's like, are you a part of the Kuhn family? And then the guy says, I was, but I renounced that name when I got this badge. Yeah. So I don't think it was like,
which I think is Yurek's squad. Actually,
yes, because that's the 77. Well, yeah, because that's on the 77th floor, which they're like,
which seem to be in opposition to Jihad in some way, shape, or form. So a lot of political shit going down. Anyway, so then we go to Evan and Kurdon, who go and meet Han Sung, basically talk the shit. We get like this little mental banter between those two. And then from there, they basically page into Yuri, and he's like, all right, Yuri, you know, we saw it in the anime, right? It's like, relax, you know, like we can't, I understand your frustration, but it's a bad look, right? And it's like, this is exactly why you have this guy here.
My man,
Kurdon, it's like, that is exactly why he is here, to just flatten anyone that you dislike at a moment's notice. So yeah, and he seems to be kind of legend, right? Because it's like the wave controller, the I can't remember what they call it, the cutter, right? Which is ironic considering he's a blunt object.
Yeah, I know. I thought that too. I was like, what?
I would figure like the smasher would be more fitting.
Cuts
but
the wind as he smashes.
I have
your
no
face
fucking
into the
clue.
ground.
It goes so fast, it's like a blade. I don't know. Anyway, so he comes out of like literally nowhere because he's like, I'll give you a minute, go, and just fucking flattens Lopo Ren. Literally flattens him, which was fucking insane.
Dope.
Yeah, so, you know, which we saw in the anime. And then from there, though, what we realize is that, and I don't know, again, if they said this in the anime, again, I must have missed it, this isn't his actual body.
No, and I don't think they said that in the
anime.
anime.
They didn't, right?
I don't remember it.
I don't remember it.
I think they said, I don't know if they use like the same exact wording, but I think it is implied in some way, shape, or form that like this isn't like the legit, like Rice Ball, whatever the fuck.
Oh, that's weird. Because, yeah, until I read this, I thought Rice Ball was like done. Like, I thought they iced him. And then
At least I remember like getting that implication.
Oh,
yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Feels like forever since we've actually watched the anime.
And it's also interesting, too, that they find out, and they said this panels before, that Lopo Ren, though, is actually from a specific family, the Bia family, B-I-A. And he makes a comment, I believe, to Dorsey way earlier.
Yeah,
I
Dorsey,
missed this. I'm sorry. Where he's like, oh, sure, if I eliminate you, that's one less person I have to contend with. Right? So he's one of those families.
Yeah.
So Kurdon just comes and flattens that body. But, you know, as evil antagonists go, right, because Lopo seems to be like currently like the pinnacle of antagonists as far as like a physical manifestation that we've seen, right? Like Jihad, I guess, would be like the main bad, but it's like we don't, you know, like he literally is like, I'm the bad guy, right? And it's like he's the bad guy,
worst
right?
bad guy that we've seen
so
physically.
far, right? And it's like it's, you know, very fitting that he's like, you know, fucking this was my one body, you know, like some fucking
reminds me of like
shit.
Kabuto. Like to Orochimaru from like him to Jihad.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, so then Yuri basically is like, where's Bam? Is he going to pass? And Dorsey's like, yeah, he's going to pass. Lopo's like, I sent the bull after him. No, he's not. Yuri's like, fuck you, go die. Basically takes the green April from Anak, tells them to say when Bam lives and when he becomes a ranker, tell him to come to the 77th floor, and there tell him Yurik Mazino is waiting. So I can't wait to meet this fucking guy because they keep on pumping him up like he's like the next thing.
Also, what I find interesting about the manhwa, just these chapters in general, is in the anime, there's a lot of cut back and forth between what's going on here and Bam and Rachel are having a conversation in the bubble. And they don't do that here. A lot, like there's
they leave it until that
there's like no
scene.
focus on it. It's just one after the other, which is like just pacing wise and interesting.
Yeah,
no, for sure.
Well, even people were commenting saying they kind of fleshed out their relationship more in the actual anime itself, which is different from
because you have like that back and forth, and you have like the additional scene in the anime that's not in the manhwa of them outside, where it's like clearly a lot more time. And I guess it's to like build up that, the betrayal and make it hurt all that much more, but like
exactly
build this relationship between the two.
Yeah. From there, also at the end of this chapter, we see that we see Ryun's fucking role to play here, right? That she seems to be a guide, and we also know that Evan is the head guide for the Jihad family, which is seems to be a pretty big title to have as well. Yeah. So more things are getting fleshed out with these characters. And
I like the insight that they give, that they can kind of predict and change the future as well as a guide, which I thought was really interesting. Like, holy shit, they're really fucking smart.
Yeah. So then we get some flashbacks again with Bam and Rachel before we go back to them in the Shinsu bubble. Yeah.
Playing ghetto chess.
And they're playing ghetto chess. Yeah, which seems like a lot of fun. I think ghetto chess seems pretty cool. So anyway, Rachel has to go back up, and she basically leaves Bam. Bam's like, I can't do anything alone. This sucks. And again, predictions here, but kind of leading me on to think that there's like someone was just fucking keeping Bam down there, some like weird fucked up shit, and they're like, go entertain him.
I heard a weird theory that it's actually the guy even said it's not true to what he knows. It's not true. He was reading along, like it's literally like the point that we're at.
Okay,
but his theory is that Bam is actually like an amalgamation of Shinsu. Like he was created from Shinsu itself. Okay, and that's why he was like kind of locked away, because he's never been born. I mean, you don't know if he's been born.
True, because he just always has known that dirt.
But that's like why he's kind of has like an affinity with Shinsu. Like it's almost like attracted to him, because that is him in a sense.
And in the anime, I don't believe they say it in the manhwa, but in the anime, there is a point where he blasts Ryun's thing off, where it's like he became Shinsu or something like that. Leroro says at some point in the anime. I don't believe they say it in the manhwa, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong there, but maybe my
I just read that along the way. I don't know if it's true, but I heard it and I was like, that's
that does seem like a theory for sure. He kind of has like an Anakin Skywalker vibe, right? Where it's like, he's fucking created by the Force.
Shinsu's not like a living thing, right?
Technically it was.
It's like life force. It's life force, from what I could gather.
It was alluded that it can be created into living things, similar to like the fishing girl who like has her fishes around. Like they're Shinsu technically, and it's a life form. So a more advanced version of Shinsu could theoretically actually create something or someone, because it is like life itself.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. It's nothing set in stone, but like that was like his explanation for it.
It's interesting theory. It's a little stretch, but
I mean, to be fair though, he did just kind of wake up in a hole and didn't know anything of his existence. Like, why wouldn't he know his mother, brother, whoever? Like, how would he not know his past and just wake up in this place?
Right. Well, I mean, like, he could have amnesia.
True.
I mean, he could, but I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, so then we have that flashback, and then Rachel and Bam are talking in the Shinsu bubble, and Bam's like, what are you trying to do up there? All that kind of stuff, like, I made friends, yada, yada.
How's the weather?
Yeah, how's the weather? So then the bull comes, and he's like, fuck, and he starts fucking fighting the bull, or lack thereof, and we have some little banter between Endorsi and Shibusu, and it's like, do you think he could really do that? And she's like, I don't think he could do both. Is the thing, because he doesn't know how to control more than one bang at a time. Exactly. So, and we see that because he can't repel it and attack it at the same time. So eventually he just goes into like fucking rage mode and just does one big blast at it and breaks through. Right. He has this like awakening moment and fucking and deflects the bull away or kills it or whatever. And so then from there they're about to pass the test, and he goes to grab her hand. And the moment that everyone shit their pants,
I couldn't even read it, bro.
Watching the anime or reading, I'm assuming, for the first time.
Bro, how is she allowed to stand up? Her legs don't work.
They don't work.
Yeah, she was lying.
You get it?
No, you're a lying sack of shit.
Literally, it was faked the whole time.
Gavin, it is totally not above this girl to lie about her being paralyzed.
It was fake. She was never paralyzed.
She's very clearly the lowest of the low when it comes to.
Why did I not realize that? I actually hate myself.
This shot just epitomizes what a piece of shit Rachel is.
I literally last night, bro, I couldn't even get through these chapters again. Like when we had to read this last night, God, it makes me so angry just looking at it. Fuck this woman, bro.
Yeah, man, shit was rough. So anyway, so then the test is over, and only Rachel pops out, obviously. And they're like, where the fuck's Bam? And Rachel's just kind of silent. And then we go back to, or rather we go forward to, everyone in their locker room or wherever the fuck, right? Like kind of reeling over everything that just happened. Excuse me. Some people are only concerned about whether they passed or not, namely Pickle, because he's a piece of shit. Some people are, like, what happened to Bam? Do you think he died? Like this, that, and the third. What are we going to do now? So then Leroro comes in and is like, Bam's probably dead. like he's probably dead. And they're like, that fucking sucks, and definitely takes a hit on the whole group because Bam has had a huge influence on the entirety of this group, right? Except for Pickle, because Pickle's dumb. So anyway, they go to visit Rachel, and Haas comes up with because he's an honorable guy and says, listen, we should probably fulfill Bam's wish in bringing Rachel to the top of the tower. It's the least we can do for him, right? Because if we knew this is what he cared about more than anything in the world, which he did, and then this is the least we can do for him. And it's really fucked up because Rachel...
I just want to run in the room and be like, no, fuck that girl, she's lying.
Yeah, right? So Rachel fucking pranked all of them really hard. So then Ryun comes in and talks with Rachel, which I can't remember if she does in the anime. Irrelevant. Doesn't matter. So. But she comes in, she's like, how's it feel to be the heroine, of the story, you fucking piece of shit. So then from there, we're closing in now towards the end. And Rachel kind of goes into a bit of a backstory here when she goes to try and go up the tower. The tower takes her, but it's literally an accident, right? Yeah. It was supposed to take Bam, which this, again, makes this whole interesting thing between, like, Bam is an irregular, but he's, like, an interesting kind of irregular because it's, like, it seems that he was initially supposed to be chosen and all this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So she gets there, and this is where a big thing comes into play, which actually, I'll wait for a second for us to get to the point, but when she goes to Hedon's like, well, that was a mistake, and I could read your whole soul right now because, like, I can do that, don't ask, and you're a piece of shit. So, like,
literally, you're ugly.
Yeah, that you're really ugly. Yeah, he's like, you look fucking gross, and you shouldn't be in this tower because you're gross. So she obviously doesn't take too kindly to that, but she's too weak and powerless to really do anything about it. So all she can do is beg and grovel, right? So she's like, please, like, I got to go up this tower. I got to do it at any cost. And he goes, okay, I'll give you a test. And so he goes to give her the eel test, which then Bam takes. And she's like, fuck that. Like, she's like, are you kidding me? She's like, okay, so you're just going to kill me. And he's like, are you not even going to try? And she's like, well, like, come on. Like, can you blame me? And all right, I'm going to be... Listen, Rachel's a total piece of shit. But to be fair, I would assume most people, if they're like, sure, you can go up the tower, you just got to escape that thing. I would wager most people would probably fail that fucking test. You know what I mean? But not even going in right off the bat, which again shows how fucking awesome Bam is because he's willing to just be like, yeah, fuck it. And just goes right in, right? So Rachel obviously mentally counts herself out before she even starts. Yep. And that's a recipe for loss. If you think you're going to lose, you're going to lose. If you think you're going to win, you can win, So anyway, Hedon's like, all right, fuck it. So I'm just let me put you in a wall real quick, which is interesting. He's like, go over there and watch, which is interesting because he doesn't put her in a thing of Shinsu. Small little difference, but as compared to the anime. And this time, because it doesn't look like, because it looks like she might be able to come out of the wall if she wanted to.
I think it's like two-way or like one-way glide.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Do you think she can come out, or do you think she?
No, because remember she's banging on the phone.
Yeah. You're right. I'm being silly. Okay. Yeah. So kind of the same shit, just not Shinsu. It's in a wall. Whatever. So then Bam comes in. And, we realize that Bam, in spite of everything, is fearless, right? Mm-hmm. He goes in, we've been through the whole story before and does that. Now, the really unfortunate thing for Rachel over here is that instead of recognizing that and maybe trying to take a page out of Bam's notebook here, right? She takes it as any loser would and immediately blames all exterior causes as to why she failed and Bam didn't. It's not because Bam was brave. It's not because Bam thought it through. It's not because Bam desired something and is willing to do anything it takes to achieve it. It's because Bam got help from Yuri. It's because Bam got the Black March. It's because
like,
Bam got all this
advice. Did you not realize he got fucking eaten by that thing?
Right.
Also, like,
and then, like, come on.
For you.
Exactly.
It's not even like Bam's trying to get this power for himself.
Right. The biggest thing, right?
Wake the fuck up.
Like loser mentality. That's
he took everything that was meant for me.
It's not fair, right? And that is just like, you know what? There's no saving this chick. It's fucking over. She's got a loser mentality, which is really a shame. So she makes every excuse in the book as to why Bam did it, and Hedon's like, you're missing the whole point, and because of that, like, I know you're ugly, right? So this is the big deviation, right, from the anime, especially, right? Because some people were commenting at first, they're like, oh, they changed the whole outlook, right, of how this is going to go. And so I agree, and it's not that I disagree, but I agree, but I'm still reluctant to fully jump into that boat. And the reason is because he doesn't explicitly say, he goes, okay, you know what? I got a favor to ask. He's like, sure, you can go to the top of the tower, but you got to do something for me. And he doesn't specify what it is. And he says, I can make you the heroine of the story. You can do it. And then we flash forward to when she's up there with Ghost and she's talking to Han Sung. Mm-hmm. Now, he doesn't explicitly say you need to kill Bam. So there's definitely a modicum of evidence to, support the claim that there is a whole fucking fuck up, right? Compared to what the anime is compared to this, where it's like you change the whole story. But I would like to throw it out there. And again, this is coming from someone who has only read the first season. That could be what he asked her, but we just don't know it, right? Because like he doesn't specify what it is he asked, but you know what I mean? Like that could have been what he asked, and we're just not aware. We're not supposed to be aware of it yet. Just throwing that out there. I don't know if you guys agree or not, but
I don't think it matters, like, to be honest, because like whether he explicitly was like the only thing you're gonna have to do is kill Bam, or like at some point, because clearly they see Bam, like they as in Jihad probably, and like the administrator see Bam as a threat to the tower. Like he's definitely dangerous to the tower, so they're gonna get rid of him eventually, whether Rachel did it or not. To me, it's the fact that like she's willing to do it, and like the way that her character is going in the story, all sort of like from both sides, the manhwa, and like end up doing the same thing. Like, I don't think it really matters whether he explicitly said it like in the anime versus the manhwa, because like I feel like it was gonna happen anyway.
Yeah, and another thing that I found interesting too that was said that Ryun is actually, because when Rachel meets up with it's implied that Hedon basically is like, here's Ghost. Like, okay, you're bitching that fucking Yuri helped Bam or whatever. It's like, sure, you got to do this favor. Clearly, it's going to be some shady shit. Here's this fucking stupidly strong guy to help you out with it that doesn't talk. So then she goes, and this is presumably before she meets Dorsey, because she's, talking with Han Sung upstairs, I guess. And that's when Han Sung introduces her to Ryun. Who will be her guide. So Ryun definitely has a huge role to play in all this, and it seems as if she's working for Han Sung. Anyway, so then Rachel goes through that whole spiel, and why I want to see the stars and all that kind of stuff. And when we get down to it, Ryun says, why are you going such lengths to see the stars? And then there's a pause, and Rachel says, I'm afraid of the night. And there's even a little author's note here. It says Bam also means night in Korean, right? So it's like they're like telling you, connect those dots. You know what I mean? Like she's afraid of Bam, right? In some way, shape, or form, or afraid of the night in general, both, right?
Play on words.
Which kind of, I would say, alludes more to, a theory that like Bam is something to be feared, for sure. I don't know. I think that I don't know if she's developed that fear throughout it, because she does definitely persecute Bam in these earlier panels here for, cursing him for being so fortunate, or like taking everything that I wanted and all that kind of stuff, instead of looking at it in the light of, he's doing this for me, you know what I mean? Of reality. Because again, Rachel's a loser and fucking thinks of everything in just the most negative spin possible on it. So it's interesting to have this up for, interpretation a bit, but definitely Bam is part of her fear, right? In some way, shape, or form. So Ryun just looks at her like, okay, whatever.
Fuck that shit.
She goes, okay, good night. I don't really care. So anyway, then Rachel seems to be, and you would like to think that she's probably going to be tormented by all this, right? Like Rachel, not even in like, oh, what did I do way, maybe, but more in like I'm not getting what I want way, and it's like, well, Rachel,
I think both, because when Lara Rose said like, hey, yeah, Bam's like dead, she passed out literally, so it's like there's still some consciousness in there, I guess.
Who knows, whatever. She just sucks. Anyway, so now then Ryun, who really is for Han Sung, who seems to be working for Bam against Jihad. There's a whole fucking thing going on. She says, so now it's time to meet Bam, who lost his star. And that's where that chapter ends. And we have one more chapter to go over here for the end of season 1. And this chapter starts with Han Sung yeeting them all up to the next floor. Right. He doesn't say a prayer in this one, but he's like, what does he say? He's like, thanks for all your efforts or whatever. Like, you go to the next floor, and it's probably like, you're assuming it's in the most non-genuine way possible, right? Yeah. And Kun is just like, I don't think we're not gonna be moved by your words, bro. Like, you're kind of a dick or whatever. And then he goes, and he actually threatens him, and he goes, wait here, when I become a ranker, you're the first one that'll come back and kick out. Yeah. And fucking Han Sung's like, whoa. I'm like, big man on campus here. All right, you got it, kid. Like, just wait until you grow up and get out of those fucking diapers before you start talking shit. But so he goes, oh, by the way, I almost forgot to give you these. And he throws him these little fucking rings, which I don't think they did in the anime. I don't remember those. No. Instead of the prayer, he gives him rings. So he says, it's to commemorate your graduation. And he said, I thought we should celebrate the moment. Or I should
Is it
celebrate
a
the moment.
marriage or something? I love that.
Yeah.
Like,
I love these little fucking cutesy faces that Hansung makes too. Like, I'm harmless. And it's like, no, you're not. You're fucking scary.
I love Hansung.
Yeah, he's great. And, he's like, so now that I give you these rings, it's really time to say goodbye. I hope your journey will be full of blessings. Bye-bye. And then they go away. Also interesting, too, because in the webtoon, it doesn't specify that Kun is on to Rachel, per se. Because in the anime, he looks at her when they're about to go up. She's in the wheelchair, and he looks at her and he goes, I hope, like something along the lines of, like, I hope it was worth it, or like whatever. Or, like, he gave up everything. And she goes, I know. And he's like, no, you don't. Yep. Right? He doesn't do that here. So you don't know if he's necessarily on to her yet, or what, what could be going on with that. But then Hansung here, I don't know what he's doing, but there's this interesting shot of him just kind of like looking at the ground like, okay. Like,
I think that was like a fuck, I just went through a lot of shit.
Or maybe I just need coffee. I don't know. Something like that,
He thought the camera was off him, and he's like,
right.
Trying to decompress.
Yeah, I mean, this was a big plan that he had, created. And I mean, theoretically, if it fell through, his ass would be on the line.
Yeah, but I feel like this isn't his first rodeo doing some shady shit.
Yeah, but think about it. He's hiding in a regular, and had to pretty much fake his death with so many variables that, like, theoretically, if any little thing had went wrong or went out of place, his ass was on the line.
Yeah, and he seems to be against jihad.
Yeah.
Which is a big deal considering he's the big man upstairs.
The literal god of this place.
Yeah.
He'll just ice anybody.
So,
at a moment's notice, so.
Yeah, right. We got to see him at some point. I want to see jihad. Like,
imagine we never see King Jihad.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, or he's like a tiny little mouse who just like
show.
Yeah, right. And he's like, I decree, and he's got like a fucking megaphone, and then you go behind. He's like, what? You're jihad? He's like, no, close the curtain.
So Wizard of Oz type shit, dude.
Yeah. It'd be hilarious. Or that like jihad maybe has been dead for some time, right? Like, or some crazy shit, and it's like his name carries on. I don't know. We'll see. Who cares? Anyway, so then we go to fucking.
I don't think so, because they can age indefinitely.
Yeah, you're
these
right.
guys like 800 years
old. Yeah,
old.
there's 500-year-old niggas in here, bro. Obviously, that man's still kicking.
Yeah, right. I'm 1,000. It's like, fuck you, dude. It's like, just kick the bucket so somebody else can take your place already. It's not even fair.
That's amazing.
Anyway. So then this is a cool scene where Leroro storms into Hansung's office, whatever you want to call it, right? His room, right? His coffee room. So then and Quan is basically running behind him like, bro, what are you doing? And Leroro's just like, I quit. Straight up.
Yep.
I quit.
I'm done.
And he's like, working on this floor. I quit. And he goes, thank you for teaching me so much, Hansung Yu. Bye. And Kwan's like, whoa, what are you doing? What's going on? And he's like, and he yells at Hansung. He's like, you gonna let him walk away like this? Like, go get him. And then fucking Hansung goes, yeah, go for him. You won't find it. Oh, I'm sorry. He goes, no. Yeah, all right, my bad. I fucked up that thing. He goes, wait.
No, Quant says that.
Quant says
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's like, you won't find another rank like
right.
Ro.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Then he says, okay, since Ro quit, shouldn't you quit too?
Damn.
And Quant's just like, wow, I see how much I'm valued at this fucking floor or whatever. And he goes, aren't you two partners? Like hamburger and Coke? I don't know why that was funny, but he's like, I think it's cool, break you guys apart, so you should quit too. And Quan's just like, wow, fuck you.
I like how they refer to him as espresso machine too in this, like,
yeah,
and they
great.
even have like little pictures of him like in that form. It's amazing.
Yeah, but I think part of the reason he's doing that too, again, speculation here, Hansung, is because he wants less people questioning him as well, right? Where it's like he has less loose ends now with like this whole plan, because like Quant and Leroro don't really know what's going on in terms of he does, so he's like, fuck it.
I think
or he just doesn't like Quant. I don't know.
think it's a yes and no, because it is obvious that these two are partners. Like, they came in together, and I think it's because honestly, Quant is the last person who's ever going to question anything on anything. He's just like, tell me to do something, and I'd go. He seems pretty much like, you do this task, and he's like, I will do this. Yes, like, this is like my life. He doesn't come across as
I think he does have a little bit more stake in it. Like, than
he
might
does,
think.
but I don't think he also has the mindset in terms of Leroro where he's like, something's going on behind the scenes. I think that he's pretty much just going with the flow for now.
I think by himself, Quant is kind of just like I'll do whatever. But I think with people like Leroro, and even after his experience with the kids in the last test, the A/B test, has given him enough evidence to no longer be able to sit quietly and be like, all right, he's seen stuff where it's like, wait. Something like some of this doesn't make any sense, and like it would take someone again, like his partner Leroro, to like push on that, right? Push that button and be like, why doesn't it make, like, you know what I mean? Think about it. But it's like I do think Quant deserves a little more credit in like I don't necessarily think he's just a straight yes man.
No, but I don't think that if Leroro would have if Lero left and it was just Quant and Han Sung, I do not think that Quaint would question Han Sung in anything that has happened in any way. I think he would continue throughout without the determining factor of Lero being the guy saying, hey, this happened, isn't this weird? And then Quaint thinking about it and going, yeah, this is a little weird. I don't think he would come up with those thoughts in his own space without someone like Ro was there, which is like what you just said.
Can I just say it's funny that you called him Quant, his original name, and then all of a sudden you're just like Quaint, and you called him Quaint not once but twice, and I'm like, I guess it's just
it's both for me, Quaint and Quant. Yeah, I don't think he'd come up with those thoughts on his own accord without somebody like Ro.
I don't know. I feel like though, like the fact that. Because I feel like if he was going to be like that, he wouldn't even question the fact. Like if he quit, he'd been like, "All right, cool, see ya." But the fact that he's so passionate and hung up about the fact that he's quitting, like, means something.
Well,
right?
yeah, that means that he wants to be next to Han. So, like, he doesn't want to lose his position.
No. But that's not why he was like making an outburst about the fact he quit. He literally says, "You're not going to find another ranker like Ro."
Because they're partners, like they're friends. Like that's why he's
right.
like, I don't want him to leave.
What I'm saying is, I think if he quit, that would have eaten away slowly at Quant. The fact that he's gone, and it would have made Quant slowly, like, you know what I mean, less distrusting of.
Hard sell for me personally, but I mean, you know, to each their own. I don't know.
Tomato. Anyway, so they have this funny little argument here or whatever, and so you know. Quant's like, I'm not gonna follow you. And Leroy's like, all right, don't. And then he keeps following him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, where are you going? And he's like, 77th floor. He's like, I'm not going there, but I'll walk you there, right? So it's like, you know, so they're going together, right? And it's interesting now that things are starting to converge, I guess, on the 77th floor, like the forbidden floor. Because Quant says, like, fuck that. What are you, crazy? That's where Yurik and his fucking squad is. The Wu Hang Songs, if shoot me if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. I don't know. Sorry. You know, why would you go to such a forbidden place? If I go there, I might find the truth, right? And again, Ro, awesome character, just because in the pursuit of truth, he's willing to disregard a lot of other things, right? And put the truth above everything he has. I believe you said it last time, Isaiah, where it's like he's willing to put everything he has, his sweet pad, his position, his you know, like his fucking right, all his material possessions, his rank, his his reputation, all that kind of stuff. Like he's willing to put that all out there in search of truth, and that says a lot, right? And now Quant's along for the ride, whether he wanted to necessarily or not. So he's going with him, which was kind of funny, right? So then we have Han Sung on the phone call, you know, some like behind the scene shit. You know, he's like, don't worry, they won't find any problems with the administering of the test. Yes, I'm sure the Jihad family will believe that boy has died. And then he hums to himself or whatever. He goes, yes, the guide must have gone to get the boy by now. So it's like, bum, bum,
Who's he talking to?
Yeah, it's like, who's he talking to? Who's also against Jihad? You know, and he hit him. I don't know. It might be Yurik himself. Who knows?
Because obviously, I mean, not obviously, but he has to be guided to the 77th floor because that's what like Yuri said. So, you know, it has to be a destination where he should end up. I don't know. Yeah,
and this tower's fucking big.
Yeah.
But I mean, kind of cool, I think, if like you slowly find out that like almost the entire tower is against Jihad, but like Jihad himself holds so much power that he just even like by himself or even him with like Rice Ball still can like oppose everybody and stand, you know what I mean, and stand on the top of the tower.
Yeah, that could be something.
I mean, he did kind of like. He did create all the power and like give
that's what
just
I mean.
a tiny
like,
bit to these people.
But
so.
like it would be crazy to think that like everybody in this tower could not like agree with him and actively stand against him.
Yeah.
But like still just off that, it wouldn't be enough to like straight overthrow him because he's just that like he has that much of a presence in the tower.
And I think it's like a fear thing because it's like when push comes to shove, even though we all know we hate him, like who's really got the balls to throw the first stone? Right, you know what I mean? Because Jihad's just gonna fucking obliterate you.
Or like, don't start a fight you can't finish. It's like you don't want to be dumb about it and like just throw a stone at him. He'll throw a fucking meteor at you. You know, if you throw something, you want to make sure it kills them. So it's like, all right, we're gonna have to play the long game on this. And
no, for sure, I'm curious. I'm very curious about that. Yeah,
the hammer.
I don't know.
I'm just fucking
Curdon's a G, but based off how they're talking about Jihad, like I don't even think Curdon stands a chance here.
Imagine he just fucking comes in with a finishing blow and flash.
Just fucking flash
Same
shots.
exact way he does Rice Ball.
Never mind. All right,
there you go.
Shit, we forgot you were here and you can do that.
Curdon is the ruler of the tower now. Fucking great. Anyway, so then we go back to our boy Bam, and Ryun goes to him, and she's like, you look like shit. And she goes, how's it feel to be betrayed? And Bam's just like, this is a cool shot.
Yeah.
Bam right here. And
innocent boy's dead.
Yeah, dude, it's fucked up, man. And he goes, I don't know what this feeling inside my heart is. I don't know. I should know why. And he's like, why would Rachel do that? You know, betray me. And he definitely doesn't seem to be doing so well. Seems like his heart's palpitating. And then, I believe she says, yes, the boy will make his way up the tower. Like, follow me. I'll tell you, excuse me, let's go up the tower. Like, why she betrayed you. As promised, what he wants, what we all want is waiting up there. Ooh. So, and is up there. And it looks like, I don't know, like, if this thing spit him out later or something like that. Or is that that's the bull. Yeah. Never mind. My bad. Oh, it looks like maybe this like dropped past the water. That was the canal or whatever. I don't know, whatever. They're really low. That's all you got to know. And it's interesting though. I just want to briefly talk about, she says is, what he wants is waiting up there, but she goes, let's go up the tower. Like he's going to go up to get what he wants, what we all want. I
think it's what we all want. It's interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right.
Because they would have to be similar to what he wants.
Yeah.
In some way. So what do they all want?
I don't know, right? And
also, what's interesting is the way that they frame Bam in these last moments here, because in the anime, it weirdly reminds me of Dragon Ball, where like I think the anime version of this might be doing something with Bam's character where it's like they want to gear him a little bit more I call it like anime friendly or like super protagonist, where it's like he's doing everything for the good of everybody and like because he has a big heart and like he wants to help people and all that stuff, where like his character in the anime comes off as a little bit more like, I am the good guy because I am your friend and I want like to find the real path, where it's like because in the anime, in this exact scene when Ryun gives him the same spiel and she's like, all right, we gotta go up the tower because whatever you're looking for is up there. Bam has a retort where he's like, no, I'm going to the top of the tower, but not because whatever I want is there. I'm going there to find out, like, why all this, you know what I mean? And it's almost like he's going to go to the top of the tower, but it's like in defiance of whatever is going on. To where here, again, it could really just be down to wording, but he has a little bit more of like, yeah, Rachel betrayed me, and like, I want to know what the fuck's up. Like, I'm not happy about it. And like, again, it mirrors, like, I referenced Dragon Ball because in the manga and in the original Dragon Ball story, Goku as a protagonist is not like your typical, like, I'm Superman and like I'm super friendly. Like, he is a Saiyan warrior who wants to fight, and he doesn't really like, his stake in fighting isn't really like to save his friends or be, the superhero or the best guy. It's because he just has this innate like, passion for fighting, right? He just likes fighting people. That's it. It's really plain and simple. And so I like, I guess, the difference in the manhwa versus the anime, and I wonder, again, don't know, could just be the way they're wording it, but I wonder if like that's the way that they're differentiating the two, if like the anime is going to take Bam in a more like anime friendly spin, and like the manhwa is going to be a little bit more like I guess serious is the right word.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to find out. I'm really fucking stoked.
Oh, dude, same. I actually want to read the next.
By the way, to get into season 2, because again, this is going to be all new material for us here, and God only knows when the next season of the anime is going to come out, if and when it does. Yeah. So we're going to have a while to kind of flesh this out and see things as they come, and it's exciting too now because if and when the anime does come out, we were coming on as anime first watchers or anime watchers first, as compared to the webtoon, but now it's going to be inverted. Yep. So I'm interested to see if we're going to turn into one of those people be like, ugh, you know what I mean? The anime did a terrible job. Because I mean, all said and done, right? Because the anime does play a part, obviously, in these reviews that we do, because again, that's what we saw first. Now it's not going to, but I would say as a whole that I don't think I wasn't displeased. I mean, again, coming from them first, I might be a little biased. But I would say at the end of the day, like, you like one or the other more webtoon or anime, at least for season 1. But like, I don't think the anime was poor in any way, shape, or form. Obviously, like you guys,
I don't. But I don't. I mean, like it wasn't. I know you feel a little bit differently about it as far as which one you liked more. But I feel like, again, with the anime and the manhwa, if the only real difference after having read the manhwa is that like there's more in the manhwa as far as like character interactions and like dialogue moments, I don't feel that like anything that was cut was like vital, like that anything that was cut was something that like you can't have understood the story without. Like, all the stuff that I have picked up from as we went through the manhwa, I like that I have that like additional knowledge now. But to me, that's all it is additional knowledge. It's like, oh, that's a cool little insight. But like, I still picked up on who everybody's characters were and what their motivate. Obviously, there's like, there's things I guess to be said. Like again, with the ending, like if you want to twist it where it's like, oh, in the anime, like they say this, and in the manga they don't explicitly say this, but it's like, that's all. I feel like you're really just splitting hair. Like, it's nothing from the anime. If you just watch the anime, I don't feel like you're missing anything like vital. This is literally like, if you want to know more about these characters and about this story, like as far as like, you know, dialogue and character moments, like this is where it is. This is where it started. But I do think for as much content as that exists in the manga that the anime has to condense, like it does a good job of doing just that.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's almost like the manhwa's like the uncut version, right? It's like you get the fucking Lord of the Rings DVD or some shit, and it's like, here's the uncut version, and it's like a 3-hour movie as compared to a 2, or a 4-hour movie as compared to a 2, or something. And it's like, I feel like the anime, you know, or the cut down versions, like as long as they keep the essence of what the story is about, and, you know, like the major characters at play are done justice, and no one is like completely altered or warped in such a way that like totally turns the story on its head, which I don't believe the anime did. I feel that it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's good. And I definitely see why a lot of people would like the manhwa more, because once you know, understand and like the story, like who doesn't like more shit with it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm like, for the average watcher, I don't think that it's like, fuck, man, they really just botched it. You know what I mean? Like some people say that they're like, they really just botched the anime. And again, might be a little bit of a bias being that we saw it first. But at the end of the day, I mean, I like them both a lot. You know what I mean? And like, whether you like one or the other more, you know, I don't know. I feel like it kept the essence of what the show was trying to do. And then, you know, in terms of the last segment where Rachel's told to kill Bam in the anime, is where she's not in here. That might be the only, you know, big thing. But again, we don't know exactly, based off what we've read, what Hedon told her to do exactly. So I don't know. We'll have to see. And I'm curious now, you know, again, to see, now that we don't have the show as reference, you know, like how this is going to go in season 2 and all that kind of stuff that we have nothing to really compare it to. It's just kind of seeing it as a raw thing. And then when the anime comes out and we watch it, if our perspectives will change, right? You know what I mean? Now that we've read parts of the manhwa and then watch them in anime. So I'm curious, a lot to be excited for and a lot to be in store for. But anyway, that's really all we have today. Thank you so much for everyone who's tagged along for this ride for season 1. And, you know, we hope that you guys will tag along for this and beyond, right? Season 2, 3, 4, whatever, etc. It's going to be a ride. This is really just the beginning. So we're really excited to take this journey with you guys. Thank you for all commenting, your likes, your subscriptions, your thoughts, and all that kind of stuff. It really goes a long way, and your suggestions. And speaking of which, make sure you guys are suggesting and, you know, letting us know your thoughts and feedback on how this was and how the second season is going to go, and like how, you know, you guys prefer to watch it or listen or whatever, so we could always find ways to improve and evolve the show that we all love so much, the story that we could all share together and talk about and gush over. It's really a great feeling. But until next time, guys, that's all we have for you today. Y'all have a good one. We'll catch you on the flip. Peace.
Later.
Peace.
Folks, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our new episodes.
You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at AoA Podcast if you want to keep up with our content or suggest new ideas for the show.
You can watch us on YouTube or listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Podbean, and more. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week to talk about all things anime.